Hey guys, this is, I don't know what I'm saying. I feel really awkward in front of the camera. Um, this is my first part of my video on why homeschooling is really fabulous for me. Um, so yeah, my teeth feel really weird. I just got braces. See? Yeah, I can't bite down now. My front teeth don't connect. See? There's a space there. It's really uncomfortable. Um, So yeah, first thing I'd like to bring up is that if I hadn't ever started homeschooling, I wouldn't be going to college this weekend. Um, at MIT, there's a thing called Splash, which is a place where I believe 7th to 12th graders can go. I believe it's once a year, and basically you can take a whole bunch of classes. And the classes range from everything from, I believe one I'm taking is Science Discovers God, which I think is going to be really interesting. To the game mechanics of Pokemon. There's a whole bunch of Doctor Who courses, which I've recently become a fan of Doctor Who, so I wanted to take those, but I didn't get into any of them. I'm taking one on stupid human tricks and why the zombie apocalypse can't happen. That one sounds really interesting. But yeah, my mom found out about that from a whole bunch of homeschoolers. So had I never been homeschooled, I wouldn't be had this amazing opportunity that I am very excited for. Um, I feel like I'm not getting a traditional education, but I'm also not getting a stereotypical homeschooling education. Um, my mom is not teaching me like in a traditional homeschooling education. Um, I'm teaching myself and I'm taking a lot of classes. My online math class is great because I can go at my own speed. So I'm gonna be done an entire section. I'm not a section. An entire what would traditionally be like a year of math. My entire geometry course I'm gonna be done before Christmas, and I started a couple weeks after everyone in public school did, which I think is really great, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm getting the same education math wise. I'm learning the same stuff, the same subject. I'm going at my own pace and learning in a way that I think is very good for me. So I'm very excited about that. Um, After I'm finished that, I might stop there for the year because I only need to take 4 years of math, and so I could just take one a year. Or I might start a new one, maybe go a little slower, not be try and be really quick about it. Um, so I'll still be doing math, but I won't be getting it done as fast, and I will be done math for high school before everyone else in public school. Um, so yeah, that's really cool. Um, another thing I like about homeschooling is the fact that the education is tailored to me personally. Um, I get a lot of opportunities that I didn't. I think I've already said that, but um, if I were in public school, I would never have a class centered directly around creative writing, which I do now, which I think is really cool, considering that I love to write, but I'm not very good at it. So I'm I'm very happy that I get to have an entire class right around that. Um, it's once a week, but we're doing we get homework and stuff, so I'm writing quite a bit. Um, Also, I'm reading. Mom's making me read To Kill a Mockingbird right now. Personally, I'm not a big fan. I saw the play, which I thought was really interesting, but I think I don't like how the book was written. I'm going to read it anyway because I have to. and maybe when I start reading more, I'll like it more. Everyone says it's a really good book, but I'm not a big fan as of now. I'm also starting to read The Da Vinci Code, which is very interesting so far. I'm only on like chapter 3, but it's quite good. I like the way how that one's written. I'm very into mysteries, but not like scary mysteries. So let's see how that turns out. Um, Also, whenever I find a word that I can't spell or don't know what it means, I'll look it up because that would be my vocabulary for the year. I think that's a lot more helpful than getting words assigned, because what if I already know those words? There are quite a few words that I've had for vocabulary in the past that I've never used before. If we take words that I actually see in real life, there's proof that they're actually used. So I really like that. Also, it helps me with the context that they're used in. Last year, when I was in 8th grade, we didn't work on what context the word should be used in at all. So we as much as we did do definitions and connotation, we didn't work on how it should sound in a sentence. But now I can do that because I'll actually be reading it from a sentence. So yeah, that's really cool. For social studies, I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I'm taking a world religions class, which is kind of boring just the way that we're doing it, but I think I'll be learning a lot after we learn about more religions. After all that, we're going to do a big discussion, a couple of classes worth of discussions, similarities, differences, how they might have started, stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. I'm taking a current events class, which I really like because as much as history is important, I feel like as a teenager growing to an adult, I feel like current what's going on now is very useful to know. I never thought I'd get interested in politics, because when you're little, politics are just like, oh, big, scary, not interesting, boring president's election, stuff like that. But in my current events class, we were watching the election, watching all the polls and how it's going, and it's actually very interesting. My favorite part was looking at all the mistakes people said, things that people didn't like. I quite enjoyed that. But so yeah, that's a lot of fun. I think that by learning current events, I'm learning something that's more relevant than history. As much as things like the Magna Carta are important, which the Magna Carta was basically like the very first Bill of Rights. Originally it only applied to the nobles. I did learn things last year, as much as it was totally boring, in my opinion. As much as I think that's important, I think it's even more important to young Americans to learn what's happening now. I'm taking a debate and rhetoric class, which is very exciting. We talked a little about our opinions on America going into Syria. I think that we should, but only, what's the word? Like, humanitarian aid, I think it is. Like, we should go in, but we should only go in to help people, like, with medicine and stuff, rather than weapons. That's just my opinion. I'm not the most educated person, so feel free to comment down below, if you have anything to say on that. Currently we're learning about healthcare. Excuse me. And like Obamacare and Medicare and Medicaid and stuff like that. I can't say much about that yet. I haven't done the reading, but maybe I'll post another blog article. I'm assuming most of you are coming from my blog. If you're not, it's Hannah's Homeschooling at .wordpress.com. No at. Yeah. So maybe once that debate is over, I will post a blog or maybe another video on my thoughts on that. But yeah, that is what I'm very happy with how that's going. We learned about logical fallacies. My favorite is the red herring, something like that. Basically, it's saying it's kind of like using a cause and effect example, except you're distracting the person from what the debate was about. For instance, overfishing. If people, like, what are your opinions on fishing and overfishing? Well, I think that if people can't fish, then there'll be people losing jobs. That would be a red herring because it's really about the overfishing. It's talking about the fish and the environment, but somebody turns it into about jobs. Also, I've been learning about the 3 types of arguments: logos, pathos, and ethos. Logos is logic, which every good argument should have. Basically, it's saying this makes sense. It's facts. I believe pathos is appeal to emotion. I might be getting pathos and ethos mixed up, but I believe pathos is appeal to emotion. So, with the same overfishing example, people might lose jobs, and people don't want to lose jobs. It'd be bad for families. That would be appeal to pathos, because you're saying, well, what about all those people that will lose jobs? That's not good. And then ethos, again, I might be getting pathos and ethos mixed up, but I believe ethos is appeal to a person, like appeal to a person's character. That's a lot of stereotyping and assumptions, like, oh, because you like One Direction, you must be a screaming fangirl, and totally mainstream doesn't like other things, which isn't always true. I feel that a lot of times when somebody says stuff like that, they're making a lot of judgments that aren't necessarily true. But yeah, so that would be my debate and rhetoric class. Yeah, I'm not doing a very good job at rhetoric. I pause too much. So yeah, that's the end of part 1. I guess it was too long, so I had to split it into 2 parts. So I will post the next part right after with the same name, just part 2 instead of part 1. So yeah, there'll be a link to both of them. Hopefully they'll be right next to each other in related videos. Maybe not. I don't know how YouTube works. I hope to learn that. See, there's another thing. I'll be learning stuff that I'll actually be using in homeschooling. Yay! Okay. See you in part 2.